Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Let's get a mic check. 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 Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right. Good. Good morning. Good night. Good afternoon. Good evening. Live from your PHFL studios right outside of rainy Washington, D.C. This is your boy, the old ball coach, with another fantastic episode of This Week in the PHFL. Man, we got a jam-packed show today. We're going to be tapping into the power ranking. Again, we had some movement at the top of the power ranking. We're going to go into our discussion regarding a couple of rookies. We're going to go through our PHFL game of the week. We're going to go through some highlights. We just got a jam-packed show today. So without further ado, let's really get into our game day highlights. That's, again, the kind of one of the staples of our segment. So again, let's get into the highlights. And these highlights, again, from a PHFL perspective, it really kind of shows you exactly some of the skill, talent in the PHFL. So let's take you live in this particular. We're going to take you first to Atlanta between the Cowboys and the Falcons. Again, this is, looking at this, you can look at the play. You kind of know just looking at this play from, and again, we got to slow down for the, for the viewers, so you can kind of just see like what the quarterback sees in his window. You see Parsons. Now, I'm not sure why Micah Parsons is ever playing in coverage. Again, that's a different conversation for a different day. Talking to, again, the defensive coordinator, for the Cowboys. Maybe that's something, again, that we can, ask him a question on, is why do you have Micah in coverage? However, again, looking at the play, Micah's in coverage, play action. You're looking at it right there. Kyle Pitts is wide open. That's literally Atlanta's number one target. Kyle Pitts down the seam, touchdown. He hits him in stride. There's again, you're not going to catch a 90-speed tight end. The Falcons go up 20-0 over the Falcons. Again, later on in the game, it's 28 to 10. So, the Cowboys, again, if they score here, they're going to bring it up to 28-17. If they go for the 2-point conversion, it can be 28-18. So now they'll be down by 10 points. So it's not like that the game was totally out of reach at this point. But again, Dak Prescott had one of his worst games. He scrambles over to the sideline. He throws an ill-advised pass looking for CeeDee Lamb. Interception by Terrell Jr. And that pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, was the ball game. Atlanta goes on to crush the Dallas Cowboys, who was at the time the number one ranked team in the PHFL. Now let's take you this game here. This had a lot of animosity. This had a lot of angst. This had a lot of. These two teams do not like each other. The Green Bay Packers, ladies and gentlemen, against your Detroit Lions. Now, Coach Deasy is normally, again, we'll give him credit when it comes to quarterback development and when it comes to, again, reading the field and being able to kind of survey and not making ill-advised pass. So Jared Goff catches the ball right now. We're going to look at it about the 47, 46-yard line. And again, so he gets the ball. Look at where Jared Goff releases this pass. So he catches it, let's say about the 47. Okay, backs up. Let's freeze. He's at the 40-yard line. You're not supposed to fade back that far. And when he throws the pass, of course it's ill-advised because now the defense, look how far the pass has to go in order for it to be caught because he dropped back almost 15 yards past where he normally should have been versus stepping up in the pocket. Again, very uncharacteristic from Coach Deasy. That's not indicative of how, again, he quarterbacks. But I don't know whether or not it's, again, when he plays the Packers, if he just loses kind of the fundamentals of defense and offense. And again, interception. The Lions had a trouble against the Packers. Now here, we talked about this when Coach Deasy was the coach of the Raiders. Now look at the safety again. Not a bad play when you really look at it. But again, why would you leave? So let's go back. Let's go back. So he's on the safety. Now, first of all, let's go back and look at the coverage. He's in a hook zone. Okay, so again, the hook zone in this particular route kind of covers everything underneath. Again, but however, as a user, trusting your eyes, if you got a guy he's right in his face. Let me look at it. He's right in his face. Why would you let him go? There's nobody that's going to be able to cover him. That safety who's over on the right side of the right hash is not going to get back over there far enough, and he leaves him. Catch the ball underneath. Don't let it go over top of your head. Touchdown. Packers go up 7-0 on just an unexplainable gaffe in defensive responsibilities. Again, I get it. The hook zone was his primary responsibility. However, I'm expecting you, as far as the way you're coached, that if you see a guy that's running straight at you, you got to carry him all the way down, especially understanding the coverage behind was a cover 3, and that safety probably would not, and he didn't get back there to be able to make the play. The Packers go up 7-2. Now, we look at this here, and again, we took literally a highlighted view. So I want you to look at, now again, the defensive end for the Green Bay Packers that's right over the right tackle. That right tackle used to be Penei Sewell, who is a 96 overall right tackle. Look at how this guy is destroyed on this play. So again, we're slowing it down. Just look. Excuse me, kid. He don't have time. He don't have time. But again, you traded an elite right tackle. So then, let's go back and look at it again. So again, when you're talking about time in the pocket, you traded an all-pro center in Frank Ragnow. You traded an elite 24-year-old right tackle, and now you're facing pass rushers in your division. So let's take a look at it again. He's right there. So Laporta's not going to chip. Laporta is going out. That right tackle literally has no shot. Look at this move. Get out the way. Just move them out the way. I mean, again, this is personnel. This is scheme. This is understanding that tackle, again, does not have the ability to be able to block that caliber of pass rush. Now going in, looking at Love again. Look at Joseph. I don't understand why Deasy decided to get on a safety. Again, that's not normally his usual strength, is getting on a safety. Again, cover 3, and then you look at it again. So let me get back and pause it. So you look at it now, your hard flats. Everybody knows with Spot, he's not throwing it to the flats. You can name in the PHFL probably 7 dudes that is not going to throw into the flats. Ballin is one, Twitch is another, Spot is another. They're throwing the ball deep. What's my guy in New England? Coach Marr is another. They're not throwing it to the flats. So you having a hard flat on the field out your cover 3, again, maybe matching principles would have been enough. But again, you're in the middle of the field, and I understand kind of like what you were looking at, as far as a user is concerned. But again, when you're usering there, you got to kind of back up and strafe, right? So you back up and strafe. Why are you running over to the right? I get it, but again, that's not a threat right now. That's not a threat. Then again, you took yourself out of any type of position to be able to get over there, make a play. Gatson gets it and scores, goes up now 27-3, and this was pretty much the ball game. The Detroit Lions were crushed by the Green Bay Packers. So again, just some, taking a look at some of the highlights from the PFHL, a couple of questionable coaching decisions from a defensive perspective, and definitely from a quarterback pocket perspective in being able to manipulate the pocket. Jared Goff failed on that first interception. So again, we took a close look at Dallas versus ATL and Green Bay versus Detroit. So now let's get you to, again, one of the most talked about segments in the PHFL, which is our PHFL Power Ranking. So here is our Power 5. The number one team who's making a return to the top slot is your New York Football Jets. Right now, again, the Jets are playing at an elite level, 7-1. Probably, again, if you go through and look at it, and right now they're doing it without their starting quarterback, who is out again. Probably got to take a look at it and see how long he's actually going to be out. But right now, he's out for a couple of weeks. So again, we got to take a look at that and see how long Justin Fields is going to be out. Second in the PHFL power ranking is your Green Bay Packers. They're coming in at number 2. Again, undefeated, just destroyed the Detroit Lions. Again, coach spot. Again, the guy just wins. I mean, you can like him a lot. You can learn to love it. But the cat is just going about his business and, just stacking up win after win after win after win. So again, you got to tip your hat to Coach Spot and what he's doing right now with the Green Bay Packers. Now, we got some fan mail last week in the PHFL Power Ranking that came from Kansas City, and it came from an anonymous sender who goes by Kansas City #1 fan. Hey, just curious on the PHFL Power Ranking. Do you effing idiots? Again, we get us a kids friendly show, so I don't want to use profanity. But do you effing idiots factor in head to head? If so, then why were some of these teams ahead of our beloved Kansas City Chiefs? I said, you know what, Coach? I mean, listen, the caller had a point. So, again, we took that information, we fed it into the computers, and the Kansas City Chiefs, as a result of knocking off the LA Chargers and the Atlanta Falcons, come in at number 3 in your PHFL power ranking. Again, Patrick Mahomes right now is playing at a MVP elite level. The Chargers or the Chiefs right now are coming in at 8-1 on the season. And again, Patrick Mahomes right now, again, is literally just playing football right now at an elite level. Just came off of 9 touchdowns in a victory over the Denver. I believe it was 9 touchdowns. A victory over the Denver Broncos. So again, Patrick Mahomes right now has 41 touchdowns, second in the PHFL behind Jordan Love. Coming in at number 3 is your Los Angeles Chargers, who own a victory over the 5th place Carolina Panthers. So right now your Chargers are coming in at 8-1. Again, Coach Mike Gotta Win is definitely neck and neck in the PHFL Coach of the Year rankings. Again, they have the Tennessee Titans. So again, they're going to be going to 9-1 on the season. But the Chargers again are coming in at number 4 in the power ranking. Your Carolina Panthers also at 8-1, and they hold the victory over the Atlanta Falcons, are coming in at number 5 in the PHFL power rankings. Again, the Panthers, just right now playing physical, tough football. So again, they're coming in at 8-1 right now with a 1-game lead over the 6th ranked team in the PHFL, which is your Atlanta Falcons. Coach BG has unlocked Bijan Robinson is playing well in his last couple of games, and also Kyle Pitts. Again, he's definitely should be in contention for a superstar dev upgrade in the offseason. But right now they're coming in at number 6 in the PHFL power ranking. Coming in at number 7 is your Buffalo Bills. Coach Yales, again, just a great victory over the Miami Dolphins. There were a lot of cursing. We had to call security, to separate the two coaches. There's no love lost between Coach Wolf and Coach Yales. I mean, again, we literally had to almost call the entire security force to get those two coaches separated. But nonetheless, the Buffalo Bills did knock off the Miami Dolphins in week number 9, and they're coming in right now at number 7 in the PHFL power ranking. And then rounding out the top 8 of the PHFL Elite 8 is your Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, they're coming in at 7-2. Again, good solid victory. The Jaguars, again, they're going to be a team right now from a defensive perspective that really plays solid defense. So again, you got to definitely tip your hat, especially in the climate now. Again, Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen is number 2 in the PHFL in sacks. So again, he's definitely, making his presence felt in that front four. And again, the Jaguars, moved to 7-3 on the season, knocking off the Philadelphia Eagles in week 9 action. In week 10 action, rather. And then dropping out of the Elite 8 is the Detroit Lions. And then coaching hot seat. I mean, I think it may be time now to start looking at some coaches that may be on the hot seat. Again, we're not sure, but there's plenty of football remaining. But right now, as far as looking at the overall teams, kind of where they are from a 1 through 100, the overall team ratings, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, is Coach Woe on the hot seat at 2-7. We're not 100% sure. We haven't heard any rumors yet coming out of Tampa Bay regarding, his status. But again, that's something that, you're definitely going to have to take a look at because again, is that, something that maybe ownership is going to look at and say, hey, we need to, we need to start winning some games. We can't continue to not, win some, stack up some wins. So right now they're 2-7. And again, that's something that, again, we will definitely take a look at as we go along throughout the season. It says, again, why are the Bucs even a topic? We weren't in a win now season 2 and 3. I don't understand why. Spoiled lunch meat. I mean, again, that's just what, the fans are asking, in talk radio. Talk radio, F the Bills, pay off the refs to cheat the game. Man, I tell you, the chat right now was on fire. But, sports talk radio, PHFL sports talk radio, the fans sometimes they want to know, hey, listen, what? What about the Commanders? What about the Broncos? What about Tampa Bay? There are some teams right now that are teetering, and the fans want to know, listen, will there be any type of coaching changes, in the offseason? We're not 100% sure. But again, we want to make sure that we tap into all of the different areas in the PHFL. Now, one of the things also came up is what is the best division right now in the PHFL? So what we did, we compiled some stats, and we right now, the 2 best divisions in the PHFL is the AFC East and the AFC West. I mean, again, you can kind of go through it and look at it, and you can, use, your own, objective point of view, but the stats don't lie. So what we did was to say, hey, listen, we're not focusing on the users. We're going to focus on the wins. We're going to focus on, everything that we went through and compiled as far as data. And right now, the NFC or the AFC East and the AFC West are the 2 best teams or best divisions right now in the PHFL. Both are tied with the most wins at 24. They have 1 team in each division with losing records. They both have 2 teams in the Power 8. The AFC East does hold a head-to-head win over the AFC West, and that was the Jets dominating the Denver Broncos. Top 10 offenses. The AFC West has 3 teams in the top 10 in total offense, while the AFC East has 2. And then the defense, the AFC East has 2 teams in the top 10 in defense, while the AFC West has 1. So both divisions are definitely very competitive, top heavy with the Bills and the Jets literally fighting for the division lead and home field advantage. Same thing in the AFC West, where the Chiefs and the Chargers are fighting for home field. So those two rematches with those teams are going to be epic when they match up. Coming up at the tail end of the season. So that's something that, again, we're definitely going to take a look at and make sure that, we keep our eyes open for those matchups between those teams. Let's tap into now our Rookie of the Month. And right now, I think, again, we may have to, start looking at this and say, hey, listen, is Jalen Milroe, your PFHL Rookie of the Year? The kid right now, again, has 2,795 yards. He has 28 touchdowns. He has a combined total of 34 touchdowns, 462 yards on the ground. He's close to probably getting over 1,000 yards rushing. He's going to definitely be knocking on the door. And he has 28 passing touchdowns with almost 2,800 yards, so probably he'll get to about 30. He may get to 4,000 by the end of the year. Got plenty of games remaining. So, again, we definitely want to give some love to Jalen Milroe and Coach Whoop. They got a monumental game in week number 11 against the San Francisco 49ers in a rematch. So, we're definitely going to be looking at that game again with a lot of excitement as San Francisco looks to be able to, again, get some revenge on their previous game against the Seattle Seahawks, where the Seahawks were able to get the victory. So, just kind of now taking a look at closing out week number 9. We talked about, again, the Packers knocking off the Lions, and again looking at kind of your PFHL Vegas pick. Again, Coach Woe, man, this guy rides with Coach Deasy, man. It don't make a difference. Coach Woe is going to ride with Coach Deasy. Then Coach Wolf, Coach Twitch, Coach Yelge, Coach Dolph, Coach FB, and Coach Whoop. Again, those of us who kind of know, as I mentioned in the previous telecast, we kind of knew that the Packers were going to win this game. So, again, 12-7. The Eagles, man, the disrespect for the Chargers. The only one was Coach BG, Coach Twitch, and Coach Mike S. Even the old ball coach was on the Eagles. So, again, the Jaguars took that level of disrespect, took it into the locker room and said, listen, man, that's enough of the disrespect, and they used that as fuel and knocked off the Eagles on the road 42-35. The Seattle Seahawks, again, Jalen Milroe, we talked about this last week. They knocked off the Los Angeles Rams 76-14. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the shootout, we talked about that, 68-48. Don't look now, but Coach Ballin, he's now at 5-4, knocking off the Indianapolis Colts 70-38. It looks like, let's take a look at the Vikings schedule, because this is a team right now, and this is a coach that you definitely want to make sure you keep your eye on. Coach Ballin, as he says, normally turns it up on the second half of the season, getting ready for the playoffs. So, again, they knocked off the Jaguars in Week 10. Now they have Tennessee. That's going to be a win. Chicago a win. Arizona. I mean, they could easily be 8-4 until they match up against the Atlanta Falcons. But looking at the remainder of their season, you would probably say the Falcons, the Packers, and the Lions. They lost to the Lions early in the season, 35-27. So those three games are going to be arguably the toughest for the Vikings. So, again, they could easily maybe 7, 11-6, 10-7. So they definitely could be in playoff contention throughout the remainder of the season. So, again, don't look now, but Coach Balling and the Vikings are starting to turn that playoff corner, as he, historically does, during the second half of the season. The Falcons, again, we talked about that, destroyed the Cowboys 57-17. Again, I don't think anybody saw that coming. Again, Coach Woe, Coach Wolf, Coach Ballin, Coach Twitch, Coach Casino, Coach Spot, and True Gamer. I figured it was going to be a close game, but I figured that the Falcons would make enough plays to pull it out. But 57-17, again, nobody kind of saw that coming. So, again, the Falcons were able to, again, get the victory in relatively easy fashion. I think it was 28-7.5, and pretty much just went on cruise control. The Commanders are struggling right now. Coach TDG, he's at 5-4. So, again, that's another team that, again, let's look at the playoff standings as it stands right now. The top 7 teams make it. So right now you have the Eagles at 5-3, you have Minnesota at 5-4, you have the Giants at 5-4, and you have the Commanders at 4-5. So again, all 3 of those teams are definitely in the hunt for that final 7th spot in the NFC wild card race. Again, plenty of football remaining. And then in the AFC, you have the Miami Dolphins right now at 4-4, the Broncos at 4-5, Vegas at 4-5, and the Patriots at 4-6. So again, those 3 teams right now are definitely in the hunt for playoff positioning. So it looks like, again, as we get into the second half of the season, man, it's going to be a lot of football that's going to be critical to a lot of team success as we head down this stretch. So elsewhere in week number 9 action, again, Vegas got a win. The Cardinals got a win. The Broncos were able to edge out the Baltimore Ravens. The Chargers, again, we got to look at this. Coach Mike got a win, and I bet you a lot of the vets picked the Browns. Coach Shifty, Coach Woe, Coach Wolf, Coach Shump, the old ball coach, Coach Twitch, Coach TDG, Coach Spot, and Coach True Gamer. A lot of the vets were riding with the Browns, maybe out of nostalgia, maybe out of kind of what they were. But right now, you gotta say that the Chargers right now are a team that should be heavily favored, going forward. And that's a team right now, again, that you probably should be on your winning ticket, as we go along. And again, the game that we talked about previously, the Buffalo Bills knocked off the Miami Dolphins 49-35. And this was actually a pretty good game, too, as we were watching it. Both teams were going back and forth. It was some ill-advised turnovers in the game by the Dolphins because, again, they were right there, and look at it from a total yards perspective, 436 yards to 448 yards. Again, both, relatively close or, really close. Third down, again, the Dolphins were 8 for 12. The Bills were 6 for 12. Sacks taken, again, the Dolphins took 6 sacks. But again, the turnovers, that's it. Normally when you look at these type of games, the turnovers are normally going to be the key to whether or not a team wins. So when you look at, especially when they're relatively, I'm going to call it evenly matched, but again, when you have talent on both sides, you throw 5 interceptions in a game, you're not going to win. And again, Josh Allen, again, 22 for 36, 378 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception for the Bills, who have again, speaking of the aforementioned Bills, they have a PHFL game of the week against the Kansas City Chiefs next week. And this is going to be literally who gets the ball last. I don't think the Bills are going to be able to stop the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to stop Josh Allen and the Bills. The prediction, again, Vegas has the Chiefs pulling off the win 45-40. And when you kind of look at kind of your boxing tail of the tape, the offensive rank as far as yardage is concerned, Kansas City is 3rd in the PHFL in offense, and Buffalo is 16th. Defensive rank, again, this is where the Bills kind of, hold their medal. They're 2nd in the PHFL in defense, and the Chiefs are 20th. But again, the Chiefs just outscore teams. They're 2nd in offense. But again, the Buffalo Bills are no slouches as well. They're 7th in the PHFL in scoring offense. Scoring defense, the Bills are 2nd in scoring defense, while the Chiefs are 20th. Sacks, again, they're 6th, while the Chiefs are 24th. And then third down conversions. Both of these teams, they move the sticks. Again, the Chiefs are number 1 in the PHFL on third downs. They just don't get stopped on third downs. You just got to, tip your hat and say, hey, listen, they just don't get stopped. And again, Buffalo is no slouch as well. They are 6th in the PHFL in third down conversion. So, and as we say this, a high scoring, whoever gets the ball last, watch it turns out to be a defensive battle and it's 17-14. But I think, again, if you have to lean towards, going with the over, and right now the over is 60, you probably want to go with the over, and the Kansas City Chiefs would more than likely, again, according to Vegas, pull out the victory. Now, as we get into wrapping up the show, let's take a look at some of the coaches' predictions in week number 11. Again, the Cowboys against the Eagles. It looks like, again, the Cowboys are the heavy favorite in this game. Again, over the Eagles. This is going to be a good one. Everybody is kind of on, I don't know where my prediction is. I got to go put my prediction on this one. I want to pick the Panthers, but I think right now Coach TDG is starting to find his groove. But I think ultimately we're going to go and go with the Panthers on this game. The Chiefs and the Broncos, again, I don't think anybody picked the old ball coach. I don't think the old ball coach picked the old ball coach. Got smacked upside the head. The Vikings and 13-1. Let's look at Coach Woe and Coach 12-0. Hold on. Nobody believes in Coach Woe. Coach Woe has knocked off. Matter of fact, Coach Woe don't believe in Coach Woe. Oh, Coach Woe don't believe in Coach Woe. I done seen it all right now, dog. I mean, listen, collusion. I mean, listen, trying to get the extra dev. I think we need to look at that, commission. You can't vote against your own team, Pete Rose. Like, what are we doing here, man? You gotta have confidence. If you don't have confidence in your locker room, but not picking your team, then why would your team go out there and fight for you, tooth and nail? Man, I have never seen a coach bet against his team. We got to start looking at this for collusion, because again, this is definitely a first. But again, San Francisco and Tampa Bay, they have a long history with one another. So again, that should be definitely a very interesting game. Again, let's see anybody else here. No. So let's look at, before we close out, let's look at the upcoming week. Let's see, week number 11 in the PFHL. Got some very interesting games. The Falcons against the Broncos. Again, nobody has faith in the old ball coach. Again, we're going to start getting some coaches' speech and record some coaching commentary. Get some coaches in the booth to kind of give some overview of their season thus far. The Commanders and the Eagles. Nobody. I think I may be the only one that's picking Coach Rail. Yeah, I'm the only one. Nobody is believing in the Grizz, but we're going to still keep the faith. This was a tough one here. I think we might have went with Coach. Yeah, we did. But, I mean, Coach Whoop knocked off the 49ers earlier in the season. And that secondary is going to make it hell on the 49ers. But I think that, Coach Center is going to do just enough to be able to get the victory. And I think the league is kind of feeling the same way. Again, the Jaguars, nobody's believing in the Jaguars. I think I also, picked the Lions as well. I think, again, the Lions just knocked off the Vikings, so I think they're going to be starting to build a little bit of momentum. Now, we have to figure out from a quarterback perspective who's going to be the quarterback, because we had Jared Goff and we had Hendon Hooker kind of splitting time against the Packers. So we're not sure who's going to be the signal caller as you go into this game with two teams right now that are fighting for playoff positioning. This is going to be an interesting game. Now, everybody is picking Coach Wolf, but Coach Casino is going to be coming out with the college, gimmicks. He's going to be coming out with the fake reverse play action screen, throw a pass back to the quarterback, punt it, kick a field goal, touchdown play. So there's going to be all types of shenanigans that's going to be coming out to Vegas. I mean, it is Vegas, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So this should be a very, very interesting game. But right now, the
the betting favorite is on the Miami Dolphins. Let's take a look at any other games. Okay, this is okay. Nobody is picking Coach Yales over Coach Twitch. Again, this is gonna be tough. I think again, I don't think that they're going to be able to stop Josh, but I'm just not sure if the Bills are going to be able to stop Patty. So this may come down literally to what team has the ball last. But this should be, again, one of the better games in the PHFL. So, again, just going through and doing kind of a recap, went through a couple of highlights from your Atlanta Falcons and your Green Bay Packers. We went through our Rookie of the Month, and right now our Rookie of the Month is your Jalen Williams from the University of Alabama and your Seattle Seahawks. Again, having a really having a good season. I don't want to call it a great season, but right now they're in playoff contention for the division. So again, you got to definitely tip your hat to the rookie quarterback who's taking over from Sam Darnold, who took the job from Sam Darnold. So again, he's having, you got to tip your hat and saying he's definitely having, a good season. And then your Power 8 power rankings, again, the New York Jets are number 1, followed by the Green Bay Packers, then your Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers, the Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons, the Buffalo Bills, and rounding out the top 8 is your Jacksonville Jaguars. And again, also we tapped into what division is the best division in the PHFL, and probably just by a slight smidget, you got to give it to the AFC East just because of a head-to-head win in the matchup between, again, those divisions. So jam-packed show. Definitely, again, just having the league right now. We're flourishing. Again, we're having a lot of fun until Madden 26 comes out, but the prelude to that will be NCAA. So right now we're having a lot of fun, a lot of heavy debate right now in the PHFL as far as who's ass and who's not ass, and the competition and trades. And I mean, man, the streets of the PHFL right now is on fire. And we in the PHFL media, we're going to capture all the content, bring it to the masses, and again, have a discussion on it. So this is your boy, the old ball coach, signing out live from our beautiful studios right outside of Washington, D.C., where it's 76 degrees with drizzle. This is your boy, and I'm out.